Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another very special episode of the Art of Awesomeness podcast. My name is Christian Caito. I'm your host, and I'm joined by our co-host, Adrian Kiswani. Hello, Adrian Kiswani. Thank you for joining us so much on today's episode.
Hey, no problem, bro. Good opening.
Adrian, oh, where'd you go? There you are. Adrian, this is episode 46.
Yeah.
This is just about our, what do you say, second episode?
Second episode of the season, yeah.
Of the season. So, doing well. A lot of news we'll talk about later, people and events. We got a lot of stuff coming up, guys.
We got some stuff
we
for
got
you
a good
guys.
episode too. So
yeah.
But first, before we get into any of that, we got some important stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Of course, the first order of business.
Drum roll, please. Oh.
I'm sorry. I started clapping. I thought I could do something different, and it didn't work out as well as I thought.
No, you're right. The clapping was good. I was thinking of something else.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
that's
ready?
fine.
Let's go.
Okay.
Happy National Surgical Oncologist Day.
Oh.
So, Adrian, care to tell us what an oncologist is?
I have no idea. I have no clue. I assume it has to do with some kind of surgery.
It recognizes the accomplishments of every life-saving surgeon who specializes in abolishing cancer.
Oh, nice. Then good job. No, I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah, Oncologist Day. Next, Being Angel Day. National Being Angel Day. So
National Angel Day or National Being an Angel Day?
Be an Angel. Encourages good deeds and kindness to others. So
okay.
Be an Angel Day. Come on.
Cool.
Be kind.
We support
be
that.
An angel, Be an angel. Angel.
As they would say in Louisiana.
Angel. And after Angel, it's National Bow Day? Bow?
Like B-O-W?
B-A-O.
B-A-O. Don't know.
It looks like it's like a little dumpling. Like you guys know, B-A-O. I think our publicist knows this because she's more well versed in desserts of the world. But it's like a Chinese dessert, right?
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like dumplings. Dumplings aside, this is a flavorful Chinese dough used to make baozi or bao. It's also stuffed with savory meats and sweets. More than a side dish, it's a type of a sandwich too. It makes delicious meals and grabs attention of other people. And that's why it's very popular today because a lot of people are customizing it. So National Bao Day. Sandwich, dessert.
If you eat those, yeah, sure.
Check it out. Never been better day. Never been better day, Adrian.
You know, I think that I did a thing with Mr. Feinstein at the beginning of the year. I forget which year I decided to do this, and I stopped doing it after a while. But one of the years of high school, Mr. Feinstein, every single time I walked in his room, I would list the national days as our kind of handshake
before
thing.
He got in?
No, before I walked in the classroom. Because you know how he'd stand outside the door and greet us
he had
and
a
stuff?
handshake with everybody.
Yeah, mine was basically I'd list the national days. Didn't always do that. And I stopped doing it after a while. But in the beginning I did. And I think this is one of those days I remember for some reason. I just remember telling him, hey, happy National Never Been Better Day or whatever. So, yeah.
Right.
Fun story.
Yeah, it's a day where you show love to your canine companion. Never been better day for some reason. So, being better, National Tooth Fairy Day. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Rip a tooth out right now and put it under your pillow, and then Adrian and I will come over and take it from you.
Yeah, and we will take all your teeth.
And not just that one. We'll take all your teeth as well. Yes, very well. And National Pecan Torte. Pecan Torte. It's a dessert.
I don't know. With pecan. Nice.
So yeah, that's pretty much all the national days, guys, on August 22nd. Thank you guys for joining us. Adrian, we got a very special episode today, which is one that actually rings right here.
Yes, it does. And that is, I think even in senior year, we used to sit in Mr. Campos's office eating lunch, and you would play this video over and over again of this guy recording a Disneyland ride.
Hang on.
And we would just watch this one part. Didn't even have to be the whole video, but just this one part of it going over the edge and this drop, this infamous drop.
Those you're giving the audience the wrong.
No, I just want to say my perspective real quick. Basically, this is what I saw. And Christian hyped this up to be the most terrifying thing in the world. And he can explain why this is, because obviously
Okay,
there's backstory here.
correct.
But what
All for
I'm
nothing.
saying is that, from my experience, you have been talking about this for a very long time. And just recently you dealt with it. And what I'm talking about is what Christian's about to explain.
Is okay, right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Adrian, for making me sound like a wimp.
No problem, dude. No problem. It's
So, for those of you who don't know, 8 years old, Disneyland, birthday, having a
sounds
great
like a great
time.
time. Yeah.
It was a good time.
Good,
We're
good.
having fun, going on all the rides, we're doing all that jazz. It's perfect, perfect, perfect. And then, kind of midday ish, my dad's like, "Oh, what's that ride over there?" Which I wasn't ready for yet. I was 8, I was still fairly light. This ride, you sit in a little log, and there's no seatbelts, which I would come soon to find out. No seatbelts,
Mhm.
and you just go straight. It looked like a complete vertical drop into a bunch of thorns of people screaming and water rushing everywhere, and it's wild. If you don't know, it's a ride called Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of side details that if you guys really knew me, you know. But the gist of it is, I went on it, didn't want to, and see, there's a lot of details that go into this, Adrian. I can't just
Yeah,
spit it out.
well, that's why I'm trying to give you the platform to give you a little backstory.
So
You
I'm
know.
about to go on. My dad's like, just go on it. There's an old lady right there saying, even my granddaughter went on it, which I felt bad because she was like 3. And so, okay, fine, fine. I'll go on out of peer pressure. I go on, realize you can't sit next to anybody to grapple onto and you're going down the drops, which does help. There's no seatbelts. And my dad said how, you know how there's two, he said, there's like the big drop that you saw, but the
Yeah.
version we're going on, there's no drop. Don't worry about it. No, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Not the case.
right.
There's only one
One
version you
ride.
could go on, and it is not the version with no drop. So we went on it. There's like 2 or 3 drops. The second one during the mid ride, I was traumatized because it was dark. And this is the drop that I went down, and I actually came out of my seat a little bit, and I like came back really hard, and I just sat on the chair, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." Okay, my dad lied to me after that one. That must have been the only drop. That's the only one he was talking about.
Right.
You guys don't know Splash Mountain. I don't want to, over elaborate, but Splash Mountain, it can get scary towards the end. It's like the animatronic ride with a bunch of cute little critters, but towards the end, they all stop singing, and then there's like these vultures and like these foxes, and they're like, "Ah, ah." I could have sworn one of them were looking at me and they were saying, "Go to hell, go to hell," and they're literally calling me out, telling me to die.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there going up. The gist of it, I'm going up, I'm going up. I'm freaking out because the handlebars are all wet, which is going to be important later on. Handlebars are wet. I can't grab onto something until eventually I don't even remember what happened because I almost
Right.
died going down that drop.
Yeah.
So the mix of coming out of my seat, the wet handlebars, the scary aesthetic, and no seat belts, which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
It's it was traumatizing. 11 years have gone by and I haven't gone on that ride. It's over a decade. And but that's important. So it's always nagged away at me. Adrian's known me for pretty close to a decade, which is pretty crazy.
yeah, it
Almost
is.
nearly a decade now.
Yeah.
So he knows how deep, you know how deep that is.
Yeah.
Because I play it in my head over and over and over.
And I
And there
always
were
tell him, I'm
times,
like, stop watching those videos, and he was like, yeah, just one more time though, one more time, and it's just
just one more time.
yeah, but it's more than that though, because you say that every
Okay, it
time.
was just one.
No,
Nearly one more time.
nearly one more. Okay, we'll go with that.
So there were times when I was supposed to go and we didn't, and yeah. So this one time, just a few, how long? When did I go, Adrian? Like a week or so ago.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
Like a week or so ago, a family friend of ours, they go to Disneyland like all the time. So they invite us over. They're like, "Hey, they're like, why don't you come with us?" Like, "Oh, we fine." Like, okay, cool. And this is the time I told Adrian, like, Adrian, I want to go to Disneyland with you, man. I want to go with Nick. I want to go with Lucas. I want to
Yeah,
go with Campos. I want to go with everybody. But I don't want to go being a slave to fear. So I prepared,
that's so deep, man. That's crazy. That's
practiced my
wild.
emotions, and I'm not gonna lie, I got pretty close to God in these past few weeks since like August 1st. because I've been kind of preparing for this.
For
It's
this this is fun Splash
it's
Mountain
not
ride.
fun.
Okay.
It's a satanic ride with no seatbelts.
By
Okay.
the way, I know that you're going to explain much more on this, but there's a first of all, you sent me the picture of you on the
Yes,
ride on the
I did.
14th. On the 14th. So I don't know if that's the day that you went that you sent the photo, but
Okay. So the day before we arrived, and then that day we went,
okay.
and then okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
So
about
it
how
was the
long ago
14th.
it was. And then so in that picture I remember you sent me I don't know if at the part where you talk about it more you want me to put that in the video, but I
Which part?
remember like just put the picture
Oh,
on
the picture.
screen.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure, sure, sure. You had it.
Yeah. But I just remember the first thing I said after you sent it was that you weren't even looking because you
Hey.
closed your eyes.
Okay, if Adrian puts that up, you guys don't get this. Okay, this is a huge step, and it's all about baby steps. Okay, and I understand. For the first half, I didn't open my eyes, and then towards the end, I opened it because it was so crazy. I opened my eyes the whole time,
Okay, but
almost the whole time.
how long is the ride exactly?
9 minutes, 9 minutes and 5 seconds.
How do you know that? How on earth? I thought you were just gonna like guess. Do you
Nothing.
know?
Just don't, don't worry about it. Okay.
Okay, I will. I will think about it.
No, doesn't matter. Yeah.
But there was one time where you were close to going, and you were really hyping yourself up preparing, and this was right before COVID, I believe, hit.
Mhm.
And you would watch this
Yes.
video on Mr. Campos, and we thought that you were actually going, but then it turned out that it had to
And
be
we couldn't make
canceled
it.
and whatever.
Yeah.
So before you get to this time, how was it like mentally thinking you were going to go on it, and then finding out that after all that worrying, nothing happened?
It was worth the worry, man.
What? That's the wrong
So
answer. That's the wrong answer.
okay, okay. You're asking before, so you guys don't know the topic is me conquering my fear, transitioning our fears, and other stuff afterwards. But this might help you for going into college or whatnot. So
Splash
before
Mountain.
then, Splash Mountain, worst ride ever.
Yeah.
It. Are you asking? So you're asking like how it was beforehand, my thought process.
Well, just like when you first started thinking that, oh, I might go here and do this,
Yeah.
when we were still in high school, and
Okay.
then to find out that you didn't actually end up going.
It made me happy to be honest, but
Yeah,
there was a drawback from that because I knew in the back of my mind that I like there was something there that I would always be like a slave to, and that was a roller coaster. As a slave, some people are slave to sin, which we are. Well,
well,
we are born in sin.
yeah,
Born in sin. I'm talking about like how some people will talk about like their alcohol addiction or addiction to other
yeah,
stuff. It's Splash Mountain for me. Something that like really draws your energy.
yeah. I believe you.
And so there was always that in the back of my mind. And I was thinking, you know what? In my relationship with God, I want to show him that I really trust him with something. And what better trust than to show him I'll go on this for you,
Yeah,
my heaven dad, because I love you so much, even though it scares me. So I went on. Before then, I'm thinking, you know what? This is gonna be great. And what kept me going is thinking of going with you guys. I was
hmm.
thinking, I want to tell Adrian, I want to tell our publicist, and I want to, be able to tell everyone, hey, we did this. Now let's
Yeah,
go. And the thing was, I think if I didn't go, it would probably be such a waste. Everyone would be so like, oh my gosh. Because I replayed that whole scenario of how I would act like over and over again. Like it would be a waste if I just
yeah,
didn't get over it. So yeah, the thing was,
yeah. I don't know if we were at Nick's
yeah,
house or something, but I think you were showing me that video just a few like a week and a half ago or something,
yeah, 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 for
where
sure.
I mean, I feel like I've seen that video almost as many times as you have at this point.
It's funny because Sophie said, I think you said this too. I told her there's probably the guy that records those are probably getting like hundreds of views because
Right.
someone's replaying it. But really, I can make this so elaborate, but the condensed version and move on to other stuff is Splash Mountain, for those of you who don't, was a genuine fear because of how I wasn't always, how I felt when I was 8.
Right.
And it taught me a lot of things. Uh, I'd hate to admit it, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going on it.
Yeah.
That was the first thing, was it wasn't as bad going on it.
And
That
then
was me conquering my fear.
real question is, would you ever go back on it now that you've gone on?
Yes, I would,
Yeah.
but once. Some
But
people, once a trip, once a trip. I told my mom, I said, "Look, I want to go here with you guys, but some people do the rides like over and over and over. I'm
yeah.
not gonna do it.
Well, I mean,
I
I
need someone to do it."
sympathized. I sympathize with you because me myself, I don't even like rides. You know,
Right,
and
you're
you
not
know
a roller
this.
coaster guy.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, not at all. Like whenever my family and I have ever gone to an amusement park or something like that, I don't like. We don't even look up at the rides because we just don't care about them. We've never been interested in them as a family. We're more interested in just walking around and just,
hmm
I guess, doing everything that normal people do on a daily basis without even going to an amusement park. So I don't even know why we go.
yeah,
But
just
you know,
funnel cakes and everything.
it's
Yeah, yes, everyone's
so
different.
yeah, I understand. I understand. But I just think what's funny to me is the amount, like you call this a satanic ride. Like I would go that
It is.
far.
I would go that far. I did
You
go
would?
that far,
Okay.
and it was just because I could have sworn like I saw like I was like in all. I was pretty close to Hell, Adrian.
Yeah,
Pretty
I'm
close.
just imagining some kid watching this in the future who's about to go on that ride and then hear you describe it in that way.
It is scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be the worst experience of your life. It is by far the scariest ride in the world today, and that's not
Hands
an
down.
overstatement. It's not an overstatement. But
Well, I mean, hey, there you go.
Adrian, the thing was, what kept me going though, aside from faith, it's such
Yeah.
like a heavy topic. From faith, was I really wanted to come to you guys and be like, "Hey, I did this.
Yeah.
Something that you guys know is important to me.
Right.
I want to do it with you guys because you're important to me."
Right. And that's I mean, I think it's just been a goal of all of us, me, you, Nick, Lucas, kind of, I guess, what you could consider the Scooby Gang.
Mhm.
And
Yes, Scooby.
yeah, we've always, all of us have always wanted to go on some kind of a trip together after high school just to kind of celebrate that because we really haven't had much of a chance to with everything.
Mhm.
Because first you had a lockdown that prevented a lot of communication, like actual in-person communication with each other, and then you obviously had the starting of us going to different colleges and work and all that
Mhm.
fun stuff.
Yeah,
But uh, yeah, I mean for sure, Santa Barbara was one of them, right? SB, we got
Santa Barbara.
Disneyland,
Yeah,
and so that's definitely on the
Mexico.
list for all of us. But if we ever do go to Disneyland as a group, which I'm sure will happen in the
Right,
future,
of course. We got to go on that.
we're going on Splash Mountain. Is what you're
As
saying?
much as I already don't like it, like it's not. I'm glad I went over it, but now I did. Like now,
Yeah,
when people say, "Oh, you don't want to go on the scary ride at Magic Mountain or whatever," like I'm cool with that because I already conquered my fear.
got
Like
it.
it's fine.
So
But
like
Adrian,
you're at peace.
I'm at eh, yeah, I'm at
Okay.
peace. Yeah, yeah, I'm at peace. I'm at peace because I did something with your encouragement
Yeah.
and we got over it. So,
Yeah. But I'm proud of you,
that's
dude. I'm
that's
proud of you.
basically it. Thanks, man. In 18-ish minutes, that's the fear of Splash Mountain,
Hey,
and
nice.
I came over it. Adrian, I mean, now we're talking about our fears and getting over it, and we kind of shared my side of the story.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to transition to in these next few seconds
Yeah.
before
So before we head into
launching
this
on?
intermission, real quick, I do just want to let you know that this has kind of been the part where Christian talks about him getting over his fear of Splash Mountain. And the next part, we're going to be going into a little bit of what we can expect or what we at least hope for this sophomore year in college, because we do that in a few days. So we will talk about that after this intermission. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but Christian was just on the call, said something. I didn't really catch it, and then he left right away. I don't know what that was, but yeah. Um I'm just gonna sit here and wait until he comes back, and yeah. I guess this could be the intermission actually. That would get that out of the way. For those of you who don't know, the intermission is usually my job, so whenever we can capture it while recording, that usually makes the process a bit easier. But We'll see. Sometimes Christian will send me a funny TikTok or something, and we'll use that. But just some behind the scenes info for you. Should be any minute now. He was just here about 50 seconds ago. He'll be back soon. Yep. Just waiting on the co-host. Any minute now. Oh, there you are.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
You're alive.
What? Say something?
Hello.
What the heck?
Welcome back from the intermission, everyone. We're back. And that intermission was so mediocre. Now, with
that one made us think of you guys, so let's do this.
That's sad that that's the one that makes us think of that. I don't think anything's gonna top the Buzz Lightyear one.
Okay, yeah, the Buzz Lightyear one's my. Besides the Hufflepuff one, that was probably my favorite intermission.
Yeah, I like that one too. That was good. Oh, and then the Godfather one.
Yeah, oh my gosh, the Godfather one.
Actually, everyone who's watching this, just go back and watch all of our videos. You don't even have to watch the whole podcast. Just go to it for the intermission.
Because honestly, counts as a view, right?
Yeah, sure it does. But I mean, those are all. I mean, I feel like we should make a compilation of all of our different intermissions. That'd be funny.
Yeah, and see how it develops from the seal to now with the Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, you know what I would like to do is someday bring back the seal in glory.
Yeah,
I'd like to bring back the seal.
One of these intermissions we'll mention you guys.
Yeah, we'll just pop it in there unawares. Yeah. But yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, Christian.
Adrian, so we're talking about my fear.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, as we kind of transition into this next one, I think that it was first. Not only was it a good kicker off into the episode, but we're now kind of transitioning to how that ties with fear and how it kind of transitioned to us starting our sophomore year of college, which is starting on Monday. We both start on the same days on August 23rd.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, we're recording this the 21st. So 21st, this comes out the 22nd, and then 23rd, we start our sophomore year of college. That's going to be fun.
This is going to be great, man. Yeah. So the Splash Mountain thing, I think, ties in with something I'll mention later. But first, Adrian, sophomore year, we're already sophomores in college, man.
Yeah, it's sophomores a weird thought.
In college.
It's a weird thought. I was I was over with family over this past week. I saw a good amount of family, and whenever I told them they were sophomore, and some of them still thought that I was in high school. You know, they thought, are you almost done?
You just look so young, man.
I don't know. They were like, yeah, you're almost done with senior year. And I was like, no, I'm a sophomore in college, and it was kind of weird to say that, though, it was weird to put that into perspective. Like, oh yeah, I'm already done with one whole year of it, that's a weird thing, but
because it flies, right? In a weird way.
It does fly. It doesn't feel like it when you're, in the year. But when you look back, you think, wow, that went by pretty quick. But I've just been thinking about lately sophomore year in high school and how that was. And I kind of think maybe it's true with college, but sophomore year generally is the nothing year. It's the year where you don't really... I don't know if it's true or not in college, but I know that in high school, sophomore year meant nothing. I mean, it was...
For us, at least, I think...
Yeah, maybe actually, maybe we just did high school wrong.
Yeah, maybe. I think we even ranked our favorite years. Mine was junior, freshman, senior, sophomore. So sophomore was my least favorite year.
Yeah, no, me too. I don't know what the first three are, but sophomore has always been at the bottom.
You just know that it ranks like dead last.
Yeah. Just honestly, because for no other reason than the fact that I genuinely can't remember anything that happened that year. There's nothing that comes to mind. I can't name for you one thing.
That's true. You don't have to. I mean,
I know.
You can't name anything. That's the thing, though. Heading into it, I mean, just how are you feeling? Just in general, like, how are you feeling, man? And how are you feeling about like starting our sophomore year already?
I'm feeling good about it because now because I'm at the same school, the same program pretty much. We're still all online. So everything
Hmm.
that I had to
Which is
kind of
weird, yeah.
learn, yeah, it is definitely weird, but everything that I kind of had to learn at the beginning of the year, starting
Hmm.
college online and not really knowing what that was going to be like, now that I have an idea of what it is to do that and now having completed 2 semesters on it, I feel comfortable going into these
Hmm.
next 2 semesters for sophomore year because it's just more or less of the same thing, I think.
Yeah,
So it's not at all worrisome the way maybe freshman year was, where freshman year you obviously have that fear of uncertainty.
yeah,
Now I think sophomore year you feel more acclimated to your kind of system, so it's not as much of a shock to the system, right?
right. It's not surprising, so to say.
Yeah, it's not surprising, and there's not a whole lot of hidden things that you're not too sure about because it's not a new school, right? It's not a
Hmm.
new way of doing things. You're more or less going into the same thing with a few tweaks here and there. I would say that
Yeah,
the only
tweet.
thing that I'm maybe not even worried about, but thinking about this year overall is that sophomore year is obviously the year that I have to transfer to another college to finish my 4 years.
Oh, you're
So
right.
yeah, I know that you are, at least right now, I think, are planning on doing all 4 years at UNLV.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if that's going to change
Hmm.
or what your plans are for that. But
Yeah, there's some stuff happening with that, but yeah, you're right.
okay, well, at least
Yeah.
from what I know. And then pretty much on my end, I decided to go to a 2 year college, a local 2 year college. And then once
Hmm.
I graduate from my 2 years there, general education, all that stuff, I'm going to transfer. So that, process is always kind of, obviously, if you know anything about like, trying to get into a school from high school, it's more or less the same thing, kind of. So,
Hmm. Yeah,
looking
yeah,
forward
yeah.
to, writing all those applications
I mean,
so
you have, but if nothing's changed from when I talked to you, you have one, at least one that you're ideally
yeah,
looking forward to
yeah,
going to.
no, for sure. That the schools aren't really the issue. I think it's just the process of having to, apply and
Yeah.
whether or not you get in, that kind of a deal. So that's
Mhm.
always kind of a fun, questionable part. The
Right.
unknown. You don't know if you're going to get
The
accepted or any of these
uncertainty.
things. But
Mhm.
I mean, as far as starting the year, I'm actually pretty comfortable, pretty excited, and I like my most of my classes. So
How many are you taking? 5?
I'm taking. I don't know. I know the units. I'm taking 16 units. That's what I know. So I don't know what that translates to the classes because I'm not
Okay,
too
I'm just
smart.
gonna get. I'm taking 5 right now,
Taking 5.
but
Okay.
you're
Hopefully that's right.
okay. How? Wait,
I
school
could
hasn't even.
actually. I could actually look. The fact that I don't
Wait,
know the number of
classes
classes
haven't
I'm
even started
taking.
yet. How do you not like your classes already? They haven't started yet.
Oh, because you know.
Like, how is that possible?
6 classes. Six
6.
classes.
Ooh, okay,
There you go. That's all.
okay,
Not
that's
bad.
cool.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you you have a point. Well, you have a point. You have a point that it's still scary. It's not. I think just with every year, as at least of right now,
Hmm.
just knowing that we're in college
Yeah.
and this is like the end game right now. There's always going to be like things that are going to kick it up. I mean, that's regular though. Like, and I think this might help for a lot of people that are heading to their sophomore year, or even just in general heading into maybe they're heading into their freshman year or senior year. Heck, maybe they're heading into high school right now.
Yeah.
Just wherever you're going in, I think taking a step back, there's always going to be like things that advance a little bit, that go up a
Yeah.
little bit higher, there's a little bit higher. But I think Adrian, you had a really good point, something that I still remind myself of, because even just a few days ago, I was thinking about a few days ago, yesterday, I was looking at my schedule and looking at my classes and textbooks, and I was getting a little overwhelmed, honestly. And
Yeah.
you said something right now that kind of my mom also said was that we've done this before, and it's
Hmm.
natural to have like jitters because it's kind of like what you said, it's unknown. But I think part of the process is really just learning to have faith in yourself and learning to have faith in your abilities that you can handle whatever comes your way. Because you've honestly come this far since high school, since middle
Yeah.
school, freshman year. Which is normal to anybody out there experiencing these jitters or seeing something that might kind of trigger that kind of small anxiety. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
that's true.
anxiety is part of just anything future related, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
it's happening tomorrow or anything past that and you're thinking about it and it's just the slightest bit unpleasant, that's anxiety right there. So,
Hmm.
I mean, it's not an uncommon thing for people for sure, and I definitely feel all of that. But
Hmm.
I think what at least helps and keeps you a little bit grounded is the fact, like, you know, it's you're never going to encounter something that you can't handle, right? You're
That's
either
true.
going to be able to handle it or it's going to kill you, right? Because whatever doesn't kill you, really, I mean, whatever doesn't kill you makes you
I mean, that's
stronger,
true.
So either you handle it or you die trying. And I think that college is not something I'm ever going to die at. It's not.
That's true. You know what? That's really
It's not that level.
refreshing.
So yeah, so I don't really treat it, and I think I said this about freshman year, is that there was a lot of hype about college in freshman year, and I always kind of took it as, not to look at it as this beast, because you look at a college campus and it's huge, and there's all these different moving
Hmm.
parts of it, and there's different people from all over who are kind of converging, doing all their different things, and
Hmm.
it's seen as kind of this higher level, higher education kind of thing with a bunch of different textbooks, and it costs a whole lot. And people obviously worry about debt, and you might be moving to a different place that you don't know, and
Hmm.
all of that fun stuff. And so I think college, a lot of it has this kind of aura of uncertainty and fear around it, because it really is kind of a new chapter from high school.
Hmm.
So but I always tended to, and still try to look down on it almost, and not try and give it that much value or power,
Energy. Yeah.
because when you give something such a high level of your energy, like you said, in time and thought process and so forth, they can really just drain you from everything else. And so if you
Hmm.
have a little bit of fear about that thing, you're just going to spiral into that one thing, and it's not going to help you in that area, right? It's not going to Worrying about school doesn't make you more productive in school,
Right.
you know.
Right.
It just usually, if anything, it harms your performance. It's
That's
better to
true.
be in
That's actually a good
school with a
point.
clear mind, a clear conscience, and to just treat it as something that's easily handled, and something that in, whatever, how many months a semester is, it'll be over then. You get breaks, you meet some people, you gain some new experience, hopefully you gain some valuable knowledge. I know not every class is this, thing where, like, wow, I've always wanted to know about public speaking, but it's
Yes.
like,
Statistics.
yeah, but yeah, I did that last semester. Anyways, but it's at the very least, if you go into it with a good mindset, you'll be able to separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, and just be able to take the good things college has to offer, reject the bad things, and then move on. You just keep going,
Hmm.
wherever the wind takes you, really. But
That's
yeah,
true.
I would
That's
say, for
good.
anyone
Yeah.
worrying, try not to worry too much, because
That's good advice, man.
yeah. Hey,
That's good
nice.
advice. Even for that's really good. Maybe this could be a good episode too for kind of targeting our students out there heading into this, because we're heading into it, and this is what Adrian's learned, what I've learned so far.
Mm.
So, another thing that I said, what I really like is what you said. I remember freshman year you said treating everything as easily handled.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
quote. I forget who said it, but
you
yeah.
said it, and it was awesome. You said it because when you said it, I remember we were in your room,
Yeah.
and we were talking about you were showing me your classes or something, and how you had like a lot of stuff. And I was looking at it. I'm not even at your school, and I was getting anxiety about it. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of like stuff going on. Like,
Yeah.
it was wild. And then you said you're just there with you're just browsing, like, you're browsing through everything. I
That's how
was
I
like,
was.
oh, you're not freaking out about it? You're
Yeah.
like, but you were there, and I was kind of compelled. I was like, wow, how come you're not freaking out about this? And just your response, it took me back, because it's something I've never. Just everything you're saying is kind of tying the same point about not giving it the mental energy you give it, about the
Yeah.
aura and everything. And when you said just treat it as easily handled and take it one thing at a time, just take it one step at a time. I'm like, what do you mean take it as easily handled? Like, you can't take this thing easily handled. Like, this is the hardest stuff ever. You have to take it like it's a big thing. You have to stress out about this if you want to do well. And
Yeah.
that's when you like slam me with a bunch of like advice about getting into college. Just it's not like a big deal. And that's when you said to me, literally, guys, all I credit Adrian with all of my best college advice, literally.
No, you can't
Even
do
in
that.
high
You can't.
school, no, I'm serious. Like, you're the one that told me, and I kind of forget to live by these, but it's good because it's coming back to me. You're the one that told me that to not take things too seriously,
Hmm.
and it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
And it's how that tied into the point of not giving it too much energy, because you do your best when you're more calm than stressed, which also took me back because I was on a completely different level. I was like
Yeah.
all up here, and you were like all right here, and I need to be down there.
Yeah.
And that's when it just tied into just all the other like things that ugh, which is
Yeah.
very helpful right now too, because we're heading
Yeah.
into it on Monday.
Well, it's like I don't, because I've been in that place before, especially like high school for me was not a pleasant experience. I don't really tend to look back at high school with a whole lot of fondness. I know it's different, definitely for a lot of people, and there are
Mm-hmm.
definitely moments and I guess like mini eras in high school where I could say I was genuinely happy. But for the majority of high school, I was not a very happy or pleasant person with the way things were. I was pretty unhappy with the way
Mm-hmm.
things were happening, and so for me, I lived in that state of constant stress for a very very long time. About 2 years, even after high school, I was just like in that zone of giving everything this really really high level of you this is the most important thing, and it's kind of hard not to do that because that's how they treat it in school.
Yeah.
High school, they treat college as this behemoth. They have counselors, for Christ's sake, about like just
Mm-hmm.
getting into the school, and they make it like this is all the follow all the steps and make sure, and it's it's important. But I think that the way that they maybe hype it up and the way that they deal with it, at least in the school system that we were brought up in, and the kind of the culture that we live in, it gives it such a high level. And in high school I felt that, and so I was very stressed out all the time, and I realized that I wasn't doing things very efficiently. My social relations weren't very good, my grades weren't bad really ever, but they
Yeah,
weren't obviously
they
as
weren't
great
bad.
as they could be. So when I went into college, I knew that this was one, a fresh start, and two, there's no chance I'm going to make this like I made high school, because high school for me wasn't the best, and I didn't want this
Mm-hmm.
next 4 years to be just as
Right.
bad or
It's a
worse.
completely new reset.
Yeah, so I was definitely like on that train of this is a reset. I need to take advantage of this, and so part of that was
Mm-hmm.
just trying to find a mindset that fit that. You know, and so that's where
Mm-hmm.
I kind of came across a bunch of these different philosophies and thoughts on, how to handle worry and stuff. And obviously, you look at scripture and you look at thinkers who have talked about these things, and it. I know what it's like to be in that stressed out headspace, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that it's not good. So
Mm-hmm.
after having tried kind of a new mindset in freshman year, I realized that it was the right mindset because I did way better in
Mm-hmm.
that year than I did, even with COVID and a crazy
Yeah.
political
New
thing. And
circumstances.
yeah, so I would recommend it to people like like you said, it's helped us, I think, to go into it
Mm-hmm.
with a better mentality. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you're going into any really new year of education, don't freak out about it or give it this put on this pedestal that's not worthy of. It's college is a
That's
stepping
right.
stone for you. you know any of these things, you should be using these things to your advantage. They shouldn't be using you
That's true.
for them. So
Ooh,
just
ooh, ooh, ooh,
so
ooh.
like
Oh.
don't give it that. Don't let it feed you. Let it give to you kind of on an equal playing field. Like, hey, I'm only here because I want to be here. I don't have to be here. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to treat it like a prison or something like this, or anything that's less than I'm just here to get what I can and then I'm gonna
That's
move
oh
on.
my
It's
gosh,
just
man.
it's
You
a
guys see
stepping
what I'm
stone.
talking about?
Stepping stone.
Adrian, gosh, that I'm taken back right now.
I feel like I've
Dude,
said
that
this
is
before.
I know,
I,
but okay, sometimes you gotta hear it again and then it clicks
that's
again.
true. That's true.
Dude, like
Yeah.
that's that is that is so true. Going in, I think even with high school, for me at least, people thinking that
Yeah.
it's with all the stress building up and you got your social life things going on, you just have all whatever any personal matter going on that's adding onto this huge wall of stress
Right.
and worry and angst and everything
Mm.
going on. It's hard to not associate that with school sometimes and think that it's kind of like a prison and you don't want to be there because of these bad emotions
Right.
that you might experience on the daily. And man, that is just such a refreshing thought to like take a step back and see that this is for you and this is going to help you and you this is basically for you.
Yeah.
It's here to feed you, not the other way around.
Right.
And man, my gosh, oh my gosh.
So I mean that's my bit of advice on it. I think I've said that. I don't know if I've actually said it on the podcast. I might have, but I know that I've definitely Christian and I have talked about
Yeah,
this in the
we because we
past,
talk
and
about it a lot.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, if that helps, and if you maybe haven't tried that out, looking at it that way, maybe it might help you this year. So give it a try, see how it
So
works, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So you know.
takeaway, this is kind of like the advice column right now.
Yeah, the advice column. This is the
We're
column
heading
I
into
like. I thrive.
right.
No.
This is where Adrian thrives. I'm taking this right now. Like this is really going in my heart. If I could give one piece of advice I've been thinking about for the past few days,
Mm,
that kind of falls under your umbrella of how much you put into it and just
yeah.
thinking about it in the right way. On the daily, you're gonna go through. I mean, it's college. You're gonna like. It's not like it's gonna be like easy. You're gonna go through
Yeah.
things that are gonna be pretty difficult.
Right.
Things that are foreign, things that
Oh,
might
essays.
essays, Duolingo, Class
Oh,
Dojo, all that jazz.
class dojo.
You know, but one thing that really helped me that I want to give back to you, Adrian, that because you've already given me so much, the sliver that I have is just really take things like with a grain of salt
Mhm.
a little bit. It's really tempting to all at once, even when especially when you're getting on your new classes, you're getting a new setting, people telling you what to do, what not to do, and everything is coming in all at once. It's hard to see everything you're going through in the present moment as overwhelming. It's
Yeah,
hard to see
right.
anything more than that. I encourage anybody listening right now, not even for anybody going to a new school per se or heading into a new grade, just anything where you're taking on something really big. Maybe that's at a job, or at school, or even in something in social life.
Mm.
Don't take it all in. Like if you're gonna, don't take it all in at once. Like if you're gonna, I'm not saying if you're gonna eat an elephant, eat it in little bits instead of as a whole,
Oh, right, right. Break it up, break
which
it
was
up.
break it up. So that's the thing. You've looked at your syllabus already for classes, right? Or you've kind of dabbled in that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I've looked at a few of
Yeah. So what really helps, especially in college, look at the syllabus.
them. For
And
real.
if there's a schedule, like a calendar of what assignments are due when, what readings are
Yeah,
due when.
that
So
helps.
that's is
Oh
oh
my
my gosh.
gosh.
That is
Yeah.
I
Oh no,
can't
you
emphasize. You don't have to look
yeah.
at anything else in the class. Just
Yeah.
look at that schedule. Because it tells you when, and instead of looking at it, it's tempting to see everything is I gotta do this by this, I gotta do this. There's an exam here, I gotta do this exam. Elective, what the heck is elective? I gotta do that for statistics, and I gotta do everything going in at once. Just
Yeah.
first focus on
Yeah.
the first week and get what you can done in this first week. Don't look at the rest of that's happening next week. I mean, after
Yeah.
just first focus on the first week,
Mhm.
focus on what you have to do this week because that's what's due. That's the reality of it. That's what's actually
Right.
happening. Focus on what you have right now.
Yeah.
And then after you finish, only after you finish though, because it's tempting to look ahead,
Yeah.
then you can kind of get ahead of the game once you're caught up and be like, okay, this is something I should look out for. This is due this week. I should start it up. So first, take a step back and break it up like in chunks, and don't be tempted to take it all in at once.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Um,
Live in the
that's a huge
moment,
part. That's
right?
such a game changer, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's
And
huge game
I
changer.
mean, it's like you said, it's very tempting. It's very easy, right? Because for a lot of us, it's on a computer now, so it's just a click away, this information, right? You don't actually have to go and ask a teacher at a desk or something,
Right,
right? So, yeah, I know exactly
right.
what you mean. And being able to kind of stave off any unneeded, anxieties is helpful, to
Hmm.
just keep you at a good pace, at a, good
Yeah,
state. Because
pacing
pacing yourself in
bit
college
by
is
bit.
is important, and maybe just a little tidbit is organization. Try and organize yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
If you
yeah,
have
yeah,
any,
yeah, for sure.
if you have a cluttered desktop like me, maybe clear that out a little bit.
Hmm.
If you want to, I know for me, I work better when I have a clean workspace. So like right now, my desk is entirely out of order. There's nothing right about my desk. I know you can't
Oh,
really see
really?
it. Oh yeah, it's awful. And so, right before I start, usually what I do is I'll clean it up, set things the way I need them for the year. I have a bookshelf right in the back of my room, a
Yeah,
little
the
one.
black one.
Yeah, that I usually stack my college books on. Anything I need, so they're right there if I need them. And for me at least, it helps if the space that I'm in is geared toward my goals. So if your goal is college, let your space be surrounded around best allowing you to perform your duties for college, or if your
Hmm.
space is for work or recording or stuff, make sure it's set up for that purpose. It just makes life easier, so
Hmm. Right.
that's
Yeah,
not
put
like a
yourself in the right
huge
setting.
yeah, that's not a huge mindset thing, but it really just to make sure that your space is a
Yeah,
reflection of
man.
your thing. I would say is a good bit of advice going into
Mhm.
anything. Yeah.
That's huge, man. Especially there's a lot out there about having particular environments dedicated to study, because when you put yourself in a certain environment, you do a certain thing. When you come
Hmm.
back to it again, then having the familiarity of it, I suppose, is just kind of stimulates something to get it more to gain more momentum. So, yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's a huge thing. That's another thing you told me about, which is like it's funny how the simple things are the ones that have the most influence.
Yeah, and I think that it was you who told me in high school. I think you might have tried this. Um and it got me thinking in high school for sure is that I don't know where you saw this, but it was basically the idea of putting post-it notes around places that you constantly walk past with certain little
Mm,
mementos or things on them, like on, in the bathroom mirror, because you look at that in the morning, or right outside, your
yeah.
front door, stuff like that to kind of guide you almost throughout your day. And so you kind of know
Hmm.
what you're doing, or, just kind of to put
Hmm.
you in the space of, oh, okay, I know what to do. I know the process. Because
Right.
for a lot of people, it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to lose sight of your goals and what you want to accomplish in the day. And just having those little reminders there, like at your
Yeah.
computer or your desk.
Yeah, like things you need to do, or even encouragement, like Bible verses. Adrian's been in my room and he's seen across like my closet wall are just some Bible verse
Hmm.
sticky notes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You've seen
I
them.
remember telling you that. That's a big thing. So that those are these are good. Wow, these are good. This is good. Wow, we should write a book about this,
Christian and
man.
Adrian write a book on how to accomplish college in the
Our
sophomore year.
advice on sophomore
What
year.
if we wrote a book on how to complete college, but we only like got to sophomore year?
we're, we're dropouts.
Or dropouts who are writing about how to do
How to
college.
succeed in college for
Drop
two
out.
dropouts.
Yeah, how
For
to succeed in
dropouts.
college is drop out. That's how you succeed. And then you
That's
become,
the whole book.
the CEO of Amazon and you crush the world or something. I don't know.
It's funny how many of them, most of them are dropouts.
They are, dude. It's
I feel
funny.
like there's some lesson to learn there that people just take away, like, oh, drop out of college, and this makes it easier. I feel
Yeah.
like there's certain advantages to college for sure. I
Hmm.
don't think you should just drop everything at once, but I think there is a lesson there for
Yeah,
these people that are really successful that I just don't know yet.
for sure. I'm a strong believer that college isn't for everybody, that it's like
Mm-hmm.
college might be for most people. That might very well be the case. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that to say that college is a requirement, everyone, if you want to live a fulfilling life on this earth, you have to attend this institution.
Right.
I think it's
Which isn't
kind of,
biblical to sense to say
no,
that.
it's not. And, even from that regard, it's just kind of like our good friend Angelo, right? Angelo Mercado. He
Yes.
decided to make a business for himself, right? He's not
Right,
going to
man.
college, and he's doing great.
Yeah.
Mercado Visuals. And so, uh, to say that, you know, college is this thing that you have to do to be a success is it's been proven wrong time and time again, right? You know, you have
Hmm.
success after success who either dropped out or never went. So,
Correct.
you know, am I saying that you should not go to college if that's not what you want to do to pursue a certain goal? No, if you want to do it, you know, by all means, right?
Hmm.
But
Right.
to say that, you know, maybe you have to get into this mindset of, you know, this is the end all be all, you know, these next 4
Right.
years will decide my entire life, you know, that's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, like giving it like this high level
So
of
don't
importance. Like
think
obviously
that's the only way.
yeah, like take what you're doing seriously, right? And take it with a certain passion and, you know, give your best effort. You know, I believe that, you know,
Right.
whatever we do, we should do our best. You know, if you don't like your job, well, do your best at your job anyway. You know, if you don't like
Hmm.
school, do your best anyway. But at the end of the day, if there's a certain path you want to go down that college isn't a requirement, for example, you want to start your own business out of high school and you have the means to do so, if you want to go into the military and do that,
Right.
you know, whatever you want to do, there's other paths that we can take in life that can lead us to fulfillment. So I
Right.
wouldn't
That's true.
stress yourself out too much. And obviously, if you're in college, do your best, but don't treat it as this end all be all that will, you know, if this isn't the way for you, this isn't the way. And if it is, and go for it. But
Hmm.
don't. I would encourage people to not get too locked into a certain mindset that denies the possibility of expanding their own personal growth. If you're stifling your own ability to do what's best, then
Hmm.
that's probably not a really good headspace to be in. I would think it's probably better for
Yeah.
you to have open options and obviously do your best at what you do, but make sure that you're not closing, you know, certain doors. You know, if they're bad, close them, but if they're good, I would say keep some doors open
Hmm.
for future.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah, man.
there you
For
go.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
having that right headspace is critical too, man. I
it's
think
such a key thing. Yeah.
and that's exactly what Adrian said. Exactly what Adrian said is something you probably won't realize a little. They don't really emphasize this in high school, but it's I think as you kind of see it in college, at least for me, I think it's more you kind of see this more in college. But exactly what you said, Adrian, is it's not the only way, which is weird because it's not really until college you realize
Yeah.
after you start it after
Yeah, it's
because
after you pay. It's
after
what
you
you
pay
realize,
the
right?
admission and after you start the classes and do the homework, they don't because I mean, did people in high school really tell you that you don't have to? Because I remember those websites where you did it where it's like, oh, what colleges do you want to go to? Like as a
Yeah.
fallback, and they really emphasize just in case, just have some.
Yeah, well, the thing about the school system, the public school system, is their goal is to put you into another school system, right? That's their whole
Right.
goal. So
Hmm.
obviously, they're if they can close out some of your other options, they will in favor of putting you in just another institution. And again, obviously, different people they want to do different things, and that's cool, right? But I think that for them to just kind of because I know exactly what you're talking about in high school
Hmm.
the only option was college. They really didn't put forth the like they didn't say, oh yeah, you can, you know, start learning this trade and become an electrician, right?
Trade, military.
Never said that, you know. So they never said, hey, starting your own business, that's a completely legitimate means of starting your life after
Right.
high school, like that. Even though that's true, that's never said. So it's
Right.
kind
That's
of,
like
it leaves kids to assume if they don't have any outside guidance and their only guidance is school, they don't really have any other bigger picture. They're kind of just
right.
all funneled in. It's like, okay, you're
Right.
in
Right.
high
Right.
school, everybody go to college now, and then once you're in college you can figure it out. But we're not going to tell you
Dude,
anything right now. It's like,
for real, I just imagine someone like in the admissions office. They're like, all right, they're like talking about this and having a bunch of they're like having a meeting of all right, we're gonna tell these kids about college, we're gonna let them know, we're gonna get them on this website to fill out applications,
yeah.
have at least 50 fallback schools, we're gonna get them. And then there's that one guy, he's like, oh, are we gonna tell them about like trade schools or military and stuff? Like what? He's like, yeah, I mean, like just in case, let them know there's other options.
Yeah.
And then he
They're
got
like,
fired.
no, 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 no.
Instead of like letting out, he's like, he's too dangerous.
Yeah, it's like we don't do that
We
here. We
gotta
don't do that
execute
here.
him. We gotta eliminate him.
Execute.
They can't give the kids any ideas. We gotta let him
Yeah,
go.
they 1984 him, you know, they just
Exactly. 1984.
Yeah, his
But
name just happens to be Winston. It's like this whole thing, you know.
yeah, Winston, John Doe, cinnamon, tomato, potato,
I don't know.
tomato, potato, Adrian. But that's man, that's actually really deep, man.
Yeah,
That's pretty
I was
cool.
surprised that we gave after a Splash Mountain. I'm surprised we were able to
Right,
like
man.
go down that
Well,
path.
it kind of ties into something I want
It
to
does kind of tie
bring
in. You're
up
right.
after I ask. I want to ask you one more, or I want to bring up one more thing, one more
Okay,
tidbit of advice, and if you want to build on that or add your own.
for sure.
Uh, Before we head on to something I want to ask Adrian, I
Hmm.
just, as advice, I want to say something that really helped and is still helping that I still need to keep myself in check with is don't be afraid to feel uncomfortable for sure.
Mm.
Don't for at least for especially for the first few days or for anything in general because
Yeah,
I'm sure with Adrian, like with Adrian and his work and even us when we first started our freshman year, sophomore year, high school, it's hard. You can't instantly come up with a flow for these things. And
even starting a
compared to the
podcast,
first
you know.
day, even, yeah, exactly. Like starting a podcast, compared to how you are like towards the end of something, like maybe in
Hmm.
school when you have a flow where you kind of know things going on, that's a lot different because you have experience compared to when it first starts out. So don't be ashamed of feeling uncomfortable and take giving yourself patience and time to come up with a flow and figuring out what does and doesn't work because that's all part of the process. What worked maybe last year or for the past job or for the past event may not work for this new one because it's all different. Like exactly what Adrian said. Like it's all changing and a few tidbits are kind of shifting here and there where you might need to alter some things to be
Yeah,
successful in your favor. So don't for sure like don't people really I think especially I think that's just how humans are is we kind of fear the unknown a little bit and when
yeah,
something is hard something doesn't make any sense, we kind of our panic alarms go off
yeah,
and we
yeah,
want
yeah.
to do something new, change that. That's not good. Not comfortable with that.
Right.
Let's do what can we do to make that not happen? And the only way to go through that is to just to
Yeah.
go through that because
Well,
honestly,
that's a really good bit of advice because when you're most uncomfortable in life is often when you grow the most. So it's just
mhm,
kind of a natural part of it, right? If you want to
yeah,
ascend to a certain level, you got to go through something, you know? So
mhm,
that's absolutely true, you know?
yeah. So don't be afraid of being uncomfortable for a little while because it's part of the process.
I Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain. And now that brings us into the question I want to ask Adrian.
Yeah.
Adrian, now we kind of talked about our advice, which is very good advice, by the way. If someone can make bullet points of those so we can print those and have
That'd
it
be
for
nice.
ourselves,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah, we
nice.
need the advice we just
Yeah,
gave.
we don't know anything we just said. I forgot
I'm gonna
already.
forget it later. I'm just gonna be like editing and it's not gonna, oh gosh, I hate life. No, I'm just kidding.
Aside from hating life
Yeah.
and giving advice we don't remember, Adrian, we're talking about. Well, okay. I'm gonna ask you something first. I'm gonna ask you the question first. Adrian,
Hmm.
what are you most looking forward to in your sophomore year? Anything that might have not been there before. And I don't know if you need
Um,
time to think about that. I know it's very spontaneous, but I bring that into play with Splash Mountain because with this upcoming sophomore year, something I worked out with a friend of mine is we were kind of talking about how going into like this auto drive, autopilot, and kind of I don't know if it's just the same seeing the same setting every day and being in the pandemic that we're starting to feel a little bit kind of like dull or kind of
yeah,
nothing really
I
exciting.
feel
So
that.
one thing that we came up with that we wanted to try was every month we're going to try two things. One that we've always wanted to try, something that we've always wanted to try, and the second one is something that's completely out of the blue.
Oh,
Like
okay.
this is something new. I'm excited to tell you about this. So
Yeah,
I kicked it off with Splash Mountain because that's something I just wanted to start
right.
fresh with. Getting over a fear. I wanted to start the school year right with a bang, and now I'm in Santa Barbara. But one thing that I'm looking forward to doing this year is doing something where every month I do something I've always wanted to try, I've never done before, and doing something completely out of the blue. So, for example, um, something I've always wanted to try was, what did I say? I wanted to make a panini, like an actual Italian panini, not
Oh
just
heck
a
yeah, yeah.
regular cheese, not just regular cheese, but actually like put like basil, parsley, and like some, sun-dried tomatoes or whatever, and actually like find ingredients and do that. I've always wanted to do that. And so that's one thing for something I've always wanted to do that I'm gonna want to do this month. And something out of the blue that, not that I wouldn't want to try, but I would never think of,
Hmm.
is I want to have a game night with you, Tucker, maybe Nick too at our house, and just play board games and eat a bunch of like junk food and listen to
Yeah.
good music and have good times. Because that's not something I wouldn't want to do, but that's out of the blue
Yeah, it is.
compared
You're
to
right.
the paninis, which is like I've always wanted to do that. That's something out of the blue. So
Dude,
I'm excited to tell you about
if we
that.
play, dude, that is really exciting. If we play Monopoly, someone's dying,
That's what I
dude.
was thinking,
Someone's dying.
dude. Math, dude. Past boardwalk, man.
I don't know, but
That's
that's a really good idea, dude. That's really good. And to keep yourself accountable, like that would be really cool if like we did that and then
yeah.
maybe put it on Instagram or something to like show like we make it a thing where every month we let people know, okay, we actually did it. So maybe to inspire people to also do that same thing.
Mhm.
Maybe we could try that, but that's a really good idea. That's
Yeah.
I would do that in a heartbeat for sure.
Yeah, I was excited to tell you about it. This is the first time Adrian's hearing about it.
Hmm.
And when I was talking to my other friend, we were trying to find ways to keep each other accountable. But I think what you said, social media is a great way too. So,
Yeah.
in the question of kind of figuring out what you want to do this year, or what you're looking forward to, just straight up, what are you looking forward to doing like this year? For me, it's kind of trying that out, trying something
Yeah.
new and something out of the blue for me. I don't know if it's different for you, or what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I would this sophomore year, I've been really looking forward to kind of scoping out new places to live, to be honest. I've
Okay,
like that's one
sweet.
thing. Obviously I'm going to I think down south for college, but as
Hmm.
far as like after college, I've been looking at places. My dad and I have both been looking at places um
Hmm.
for places he wants to live eventually and places that I want to live eventually. So that's I mean that's one kind of
Hmm.
random thing I guess, but more specific to school. There's this one class I'm taking and it's called Principles in Animal Sciences. And before people start saying Adrian's a vegetarian, hold on.
Principles. Okay. What?
Principles in Animal Sciences is specifically a, like it's around agriculture. So the types of animals that you would see on a farm, like cattle, certain sheep,
Right.
goats, chickens, and as you know, I kind of want to do something like that someday. And there's this
Right. I know.
part of the class where you can actually take care of some actual local sheep and goats to get hands-on experience.
Ooh,
And I kind of want to do that. So I might take that as an opportunity to learn
dude.
more about a future lifestyle of mine. So
So taking advantage of a class for
taking
future living.
advantage of a class, yeah, so I can eat them. But yeah,
Okay.
that's
Well, I
that's
guess that takes care of the vegetarian problem, if
yeah,
you guys are wondering.
yeah. But yeah, I
That,
don't know that
yeah.
that's something that I'm pretty excited for. To be
Yeah,
honest,
man. I
that's
know, because that's something you always been talking about, like having your own place, especially having like your own land and basically building everything from the ground up.
oh yeah.
So doing a class like that where you kind of get to learn more of the fundamentals and how to do that and get hands-on experience is pretty wild too.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that's
I've never heard of anything like that. So when I found out, oh, you can actually learn hands-on, you don't just have to read about the animals. You can actually go and handle them and feed them and get
mhm.
comfortable with the livestock. I was like, that's a pretty cool opportunity. I might have to go out
Yeah.
and do that. And then on top of that, um, a lot of people were really surprised, my parents included, when I didn't go to college for art, because I'm very passionate about
Okay.
art and that kind of
You
a
are.
deal.
He's the best artist I know.
But art doesn't really pay the bills unless you're really good. So I was like, I'm going to go to college for
That's true.
something different, but I'm
Unfortunately.
still going to obviously follow a passion of artwork, and I get to take a beginner's drawing class this
Oh,
semester, so
dude.
I can start again.
Hmm.
But
Honestly, you should be teaching that. If anybody knows, this is not a hesitation. Adrian's the best artist that I know for sure. Like the
gosh
things
dang,
this guy makes from his head are wild.
yeah,
I
it's,
still have the
it's
Spider-Man drawing, the beanie
oh really?
drawing, the other drawing you made, the drawing you made for that letter on the last day of school. It's in
Oh really?
my pull out. Yeah, everything, man. Like this. Gosh, he's so. I mean, I think it's crazy you're taking a beginner's course because I think you should be teaching it.
Well,
But
that
I
was the
think that's
only
cool, man.
that was the only thing that they had, and the reason I'm taking the beginner's course is because I'm already pretty comfortable drawing. It's a nice kind of I guess release for me, just to kind of unwind and just scribble away.
Yeah.
But to take a beginner's drawing class, because I already took art one in high school, so I already pretty much know the basics.
Hmm.
But it's always nice to kind of familiarize yourself with certain techniques that you might have looked over, because a lot of people when they start drawing they get really comfortable in their own technique and then they don't try
Hmm.
anything new.
Right. They
So
don't branch out.
I'm hoping that this will kind of help me get a good base foundation of knowledge, and I can go from there.
Yeah,
But yeah, those are some things that I'm excited for this semester. I'm looking for, and
man.
then also what you just said, doing that 2 things a month. Definitely gonna
Yeah,
hop
one
on
you
that
want
train.
to try, and one that's completely out of the blue.
Yeah, and we would
So
challenge
we
all of you to
can,
do that too.
yeah. So
And
you guys are
yeah,
probably wondering like how that ties in with the splash mountain. The splash mountain is something I've always wanted to do. It's like a Kickstarter for whatever yours is. Doesn't I know it's kind of by then you'll probably have like one more day before school starts, but
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't have to be before school starts to start off with something big. And I know my points are kind of everywhere, but Campos told me, I was asking him for advice, and he said basically like one of the things out of everything he's given me was just start off with like a punch. Like you don't go into a fight with like a slap to the face, right?
Right, you start out with a knockout,
With
right?
like a huge, you start with your best, strike first, strike hard,
Yeah. Then you start
no
praying and hope for
mercy.
the best.
And then that part, yeah, that part is inevitable. That comes too, but
Yeah, you choke them out, and that's
base
sorry. No,
choke him out, and that's a great way to start off the year too.
actually, that's how you should just go about
Basically,
college. Sucker punch it and then choke it out. That's how you
yeah,
just.
just always give your best, man. But especially in
Yeah.
the beginning, it's college. Like, have fun too. Don't take life too seriously, which is another point. Like, don't take anything in life, or especially college. I mean, take it seriously, but
Yeah.
don't like dwell on it too much.
Yeah. I would
Don't
say
over.
take things seriously that are worth taking seriously, and then don't take things seriously that aren't worth being taken
That aren't
seriously.
worth
That's
taking. That's
simple as
true.
that, you
Okay,
know?
so take
Just,
it like that. But basically, when you start, guys, I don't know, starting with a punch can mean different things. Maybe that's starting with the right mindset.
right?
Starting with something, going into it, having an experience that you've never had before that
Mhm.
kind of helps you towards uh, whoever you choose to be this year or the years following after that. So whatever that means to you, because you can interpret that any way, guys. But for me, it was getting over a fear so I could start off with no worry for the
Mhm.
most part, or no worry about a ride.
Right.
So start off with a punch, man. Start with a
Yeah,
punch.
that's good
Have
advice,
fun.
dude. And
So
with
can't wait to
that,
do this.
I know Christian has got to go in a little while. It's getting about that time. But I did just want to say that we, of course, have the verse of the day for you guys before we depart.
Ooh.
And that verse is going to be John 16, verse
Let's do it.
33. And though I can't even talk now.
Come on, bro.
And
Help.
and that verse is going to be, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Which is a motivational
Mm,
verse, an encouraging verse
yeah.
that essentially ensures that it doesn't say you might, it says that in the world ye shall have tribulation, meaning that you are going to go through hard times in this world without a doubt. And that's just something that the world brings with it, and it's something to be expected. But the Bible has the best mentalities about everything, pretty much, and that is to be of good cheer in this time of tribulation. And
Mm,
any time of tribulation, Bible's advice is to be of good cheer. And why should we be of good cheer? It's because God's already overcome the world. Any battle that we face, God, one, is bigger than it, and two, he's already beaten it ultimately. Because every
mm-hmm,
problem in the world, God's beaten in some way or another,
mm-hmm,
ultimately. So, if we have our trust in him, then there's nothing we really can't do. And there's nothing that you should ultimately be afraid of, because he's beaten it all already.
mm-hmm.
So
Yep, that's
I would
true, man.
say,
Great advice.
in this, as we start college and as we start any new chapter of our life, be of good cheer
Mm-hmm,
and trust in God, and you know things work out the way that they should, for better or for worse. So don't give
mm-hmm.
it too much thought if it's not worthy of it. And with that,
That's
Christian,
true.
that's episode 46, bro. We
That's
we did it.
46. I know that we're already doing another Zoom, which honestly I think we're getting pretty good at too.
I think we are too, but it makes
Just
me sad inside, you
right,
know?
right. I know we're getting good at it for emergencies, but have faith, ye of little faith. Ye of little faith, have faith. Because we still got a lot more episodes left to go.
Yeah, we
We
do.
got a lot more people we want to have on.
Yeah,
And
Christian's
it's
coming
actually
back. So
I'm coming back. I'm in Santa Barbara visiting the grandparents before school starts, but I'm coming back. Not only am I coming back, but I think things are fine. I want to jinx it. Things are finally starting to cool down a little bit more. So if we want
yeah.
to get back to our old routine,
Thank God, man. That's
once it's I don't want to jinx it. Maybe watch it be like 1,000 degrees next week, and
I know.
it's just either
Also,
way.
I don't know if you're feeling it too bad down there, but up here, dude, we got fires for days, man. It's like,
Oh, it's raining here, man.
oh, really? Like the sun is all red and stuff like that because of the smoke and stuff.
Ooh, cool.
It's no bueno, man. No bueno.
Dude, I
But
liked it while I was sitting on my couch. That was good weather, but we'll see.
it is. Hey,
We'll
it'll be
see when
fall
it comes
soon
around,
enough. It'll be fall soon enough. We can all chill
and
then.
it'll fall into place.
I see what you did there. I got that reference. I like how we can give good advice and then we go to that.
Just good. I'm sorry.
We're just two college kids who know
over.
nothing, so
Delete it. Let's start over again.
Don't listen to us. All right, restart. Hello, everyone.
Good.
Welcome back to the Art of Awesomeness podcast. We suck. All right.
Thank you for listening, guys.
We'll see.
We hope you guys appreciate. Wait.
I'm sorry. It sounded like you were ending it. I was trying to follow your lead. Ah, dang it. Okay. Anyways.
Well, as always, you guys know the drill. Everything will be down below. Our Instagrams, commenting, our outro music, our website if you guys want to see all that fun jazz.
Yeah.
And of course, please message us.
Yes.
Let us know things that we can improve on. If you want to be on, any ideas that you have for us, anything at all, even if it's just to say hi.
Yeah.
Please reach out to us. And also shout out to Tucka Like a Ding Dong. Tucka.
Yeah.
Dude got over his first week of high school and he's a senior. So I'm proud of you, Tuck.
He's already crushing it.
He's already crushing. He's about to graduate.
He's about to graduate,
Ish. And thanks, Tuck, for everything you do for us, man. Everyone else that listens, we appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, shout out to all of you who shout us out on Instagram whenever we post, who reshare it and all that good stuff, put it on your story. We appreciate that. And so
we do appreciate it, guys.
And actually, anyone who's watched to the end, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. And yeah, I know, Christian, you opened this, bro, so I leave you to it,
Well, as always, thank you guys for joining us. Episode 46, August 22nd, 9 a.m. Or whenever you're watching this on in August. In August. Thank you.
They're watching it like in September.
And thank you for all our new listeners. And we appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next time on the Art of Awesomeness, episode 46, baby.
Peace.